Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I would like to speak about numbers. We all know what number is. Number is a mathematical object used to measure, count, label, etc. Calculations of numbers are done by arithmetical operations, the most familiar being addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. Now, we need to know about different types of numbers that we are dealing with. There are numbers like 1, 2, 3, or 0.2, 1 by 4, 6 by 10, etc. So now, let's see some types of numbers that are mainly used in mathematics. Natural numbers are also known as counting numbers or positive integers. Every number starting from 1 is known as natural numbers. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. etc. Whole numbers are the set of natural numbers plus a 0, and that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes on like that. Basically, every number starting from 0 is known as whole numbers. Integers are the sets of whole numbers including the negatives or opposites of the natural numbers, that is minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, etc. Basically, integers include all the numbers except the numbers having the fractional component like 0.2, 1 by 4, etc. Fractions represent equal parts of a whole or a collection. When we divide a whole into equal parts, each part is known as fraction of the whole. For example, 1 by 2, 1 by 4, 3 by 4, etc. A decimal number can be defined as a number whose whole number and fractional number is separated by a dot. A dot in the decimal number is known as decimal point. Digits followed by the decimal point is always smaller than 1. For example, 0.2, 1.2, 3.99, 4.6, etc. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Mathematics is a cradle of all creation without which the world cannot move an inch. Assalamu alaikum. Today I am going to speak about famous Indian mathematicians. Aryabhatta. Aryabhatta was the first person to say that the earth is spherical and it revolves around the sun, and stated the correct number of days in a year, that is 365. He also gave the formula a plus b all square equals to a square plus b square plus 2ab. Further, he worked on the place value system using letters to signify numbers and stating qualities. Srinivasa Ramanujan. Srinivasa Ramanujan was one of India's greatest mathematical genius. He made substantial contribution to Hari Ramanujan little root circle method in number theory and worked on elliptic functions, continued fraction, partial sums, products of hypergeometric series and infinite series. Mahalanobis. Prasanth Chandra Mahalanobis's most significant contribution in the field of statistics was the Mahalanobis distance. Besides these, he had also made pioneering studies in the field of anthropometry and had founded the Indian Statistical Institute. He also contributed to the design of large-scale sample surveys in India. C.R. Rao. Kalimpuri Radhakrishna Rao, popularly known as C.R. Rao, is well-known statistician famous for his theory of estimation. His contribution to statistical theory and applications are well known, and many of his results which bear his name are included in the curriculum of course in statistics and bachelor's and master's level all over the world. Kaprekar. Dattraya Ramachandra Kaprekar was an Indian recreational mathematician who described several classes of natural numbers including the Kaprekar, Harshad and self numbers, and discovered the Kaprekar constant named after him. Without any formal mathematical education, he published extensively and was very well known in recreational mathematical circles. Harishchandra F.R.Z. was an Indian-American mathematician and physicist who did fundamental work in representation theory, especially harmonic analysis on semi-symbol Lie groups. Thank you.
Islamic contribution to mathematics. Islamic mathematicians who adapted the English list of numerals, today known as Arabic numerals. Other contributions include the creation of algebra, the use of decimals, mathematical induction, trigonometry, among others. The Islamic scientists in the 10th century were involved in three major mathematical projects: the completion of algorithms, development of algebra, and the extension of geometry. First, Al-Khwarizmi. Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi, urbanized as Al-Khwarizmi and formally Latinized as Algorithmi, was a Persian polymath who produced vastly influential works in mathematics, astronomy, and geography. Second, Ali Kushti. Ala ad-Din Ali ibn Muhammad, known as Ali Kushti, was a Timid theologist, new jurist, astronomer, child mathematician, and physicist. He is best known for the development of astronomical physics, independent from natural philosophy. Third, Al-Abbas. Al-Abbas was a geometer who worked in the House of Wisdom in Baghdad and for a short time in Damascus, where he made astronomical observations. Abu Kamel. Abu Kamel was an Egyptian mathematician during the Golden Age of Islam. He considered the first mathematician to systematically use and accept irrational numbers as solutions and coefficient equations. Fifth, Abu Hassan ibn Ali Muhammad was a mathematician from Al-Andalus, specializing in Islamic inheritance, Judaism, France, stated in Al-Qasdi. Al-Qasadi, who was known as the most influential voices in geometrical notation for taking the first steps towards the introduction of geometrical symbolism, who wrote numerous numbers on algorithmic equations.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today I am talking about the history of mathematics. Prehistoric artifacts discovered in Africa dated 20,000 years old or more suggest early attempts to quantify time. The Ishango bone found near the headwaters of the Nile River may be more than 20,000 years old and consists of a series mark carved in 3 columns running the length of the bone. Common interpretations are that the Ishango bone shows either a tally of the earliest known demonstration of sequence of prime numbers or a 6-month lunar calendar. Babylonian mathematics was written using a V60 numeral system. From this derives the modern day usage of 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 360 degrees in a circle, as well as the use of 60 and minutes of arc to denote fractions of a degree. It is likely the sexagesimal system was chosen because 60 can be evenly divided by 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 12, 50, 20 and 30. The most extensive Egyptian mathematical text is the Rhind Papyrus. It is an instruction manual for students in mathematics and geometry, in addition to giving area formulas and methods for multiplication, division and working with unit fractions. It also contains of other mathematical knowledge, including composite and prime numbers, arithmetic, geometric and harmonic means, and simplistic understanding of both the sieve of irreducibleness and perfect number theory. It also shows how to solve first-order linear equations as well as the arithmetic and geometric series. Greek mathematics was much more sophisticated than the mathematics that had been developed by earlier cultures. All surviving records of pre-Greek mathematics shows the use of inductive reasoning, that is, repeated observations used to establish rules of thumb. Greek mathematicians, by contrast, used deductive reasoning. The Greeks used logic to derive conclusions from definitions and axioms and used mathematical record to prove them. Using calculations, Romans were adept at both instigating and detecting financial as well as managing taxes for the treasury. Siculus Flaccus, one of the Roman mathematicians, categories of fields which aided Roman surveyors in measuring the surface areas of allotted lands and territories. Aside from managing trade and taxes, the Romans also regularly applied mathematics to solve problems in engineering, including the erection of architecture such as bridges, road building, arts and crafts such as Roman mosaics inspired by previous Greek designs created illusionist geometric patterns and rich detailed scenes that required precise measurements for each tessera tile. The opus tessellated piece on an average measuring 8 mm square, and the finer opus were accumulated pieces having an average surface of 4 mm squares. Chinese mathematics of a decimal position and notation system, that so-called road numerals, in which distinct ciphers were used for numbers between 1 and 10, and additional ciphers for powers of 10. Thus, the number 1, 2, 3 would be written using the symbol for 1, followed by the symbol for 100, then the symbol for 2, and followed by the symbol for 10, followed by the symbol for 3. The most advanced number system in the world at the time, apparently in use several centuries before the Common Era and well before the development of the Indian numeral system. Rod numerals allowed the inspiration of numbers as large as desired and allowed calculations to be carried out on the swan pan or Chinese abacus. The date of the invention of the swan pan is not certain, but the earliest written mention dates from AD 190 in Shu's supplementary note on the art of figures. The earliest civilization on the Indian subcontinent is the Indus Valley civilization that flourished in the Indus River basin. Their cities were laid out with geometric regularity, but no non-mathematical documents survive from the civilization. The oldest extant mathematical records from India are the Salba Satras, dated variously between the 8th century BC and the 2nd century AD. Appendices to religious texts which give simple rules for constructing altars of various shapes such as squares, rectangles,